Ladies and gentlemen, many of the essential state services are still not privatized. It happened because the government wanted to improve and help the country's economy by managing it themselves. But by privatizing it, and it is expected to make essential state services much better, both in management and service. Now, what is essential state services and privatization? Essential state services are state services that intend to assist and provide the needs of the people of a country, which include health services, public complaint services, state electricity providers, etc. And moving on to privatization. In general, privatization is selling partially or completely of a company share under the state-owned corporations to private parties intending to increase the value of its company, which means that the essential state services we discuss here is under the state-owned corporation. Now what is state-owned corporation? State-owned corporation is a company that is generally owned by the government and managed by the government of a country itself. The state-owned corporation has many of the essential state services, and the entirety includes many sectors whose business resources are from and owned by the state itself. Anyway, this motion focuses on the developing country Indonesia. And why is Indonesia? Many developed countries are privatizing companies or essential state services under the state-owned corporation. Therefore, as a developing country, this motion should be focused on our country, and the fact that Indonesia has many essential state services under the state-owned corporation, covering various aspects of the economy, justifies the idea for this motion. And as we all know, ladies and gentlemen, the main purpose of this motion is to support that essential state services, especially in Indonesia, should be privatized. And of course, some methods can be used to privatize essential state services in Indonesia, such as 1. Offering part or all of the essential state services to the public, 2. Selling the stocks to certain private parties, 3. Implementing the method for selling assets of state-owned corporation to government organization, and 4. Adding a new private investment in state-owned corporation assets, and 5. Purchasing of essential state services by management or management employee purchasing. Privatization of essential state services has been applied in some developed and developing countries, and this privatization policy is increasingly being carried out in Indonesia due to many factors, and one of them is how unbalanced the performance of the essential state services here is. But of course, privatization has its pros and cons, including the diversity in opinions and responses in society. The first point is, why is privatizing essential state services matters? Looking at the main reasons why a company under a state-owned corporation privatizes its company and the purpose of privatizing the company itself, it can be assumed that the privatization of a company is important both in terms of management and company policy. Now let's get into the second point. What are the purposes of a company under the state-owned corporation privatizing their company? From the economical side, the purposes of privatization are to boosting the efficiency and productivity of a company, expand market power and develop the economic competition, and provide a financial contribution to the country with better management. Now the third point is, privatization is beneficial for the company, societies, and the state. But what are the benefits of privatization? The benefit of privatization for the state is to establish the capital market and could open job vacancies for the people and improve the quality of public services. Meanwhile, privatized essential state services that used to be under the state-owned corporation are now developing and well managed. However, controversy over this privatization also exists. And in this fourth point, what is the public's response to privatization? Did the differences spark controversy, and what is the controversy? The public's responses are unquestionably different and somehow caused controversy that made some parties reject this privatization policy to essential state services or companies, such as fear of demotion being considered detrimental to the state, and I'm not nationalist. Sorry. But this should not be a problem if the benefits of privatization are obvious to the public or consumers, companies, and the state, so this controversy is not something to be worried about. The last point is, what are we going to do to make this motion succeed? What are we going to do to convince people that privatization is very beneficial for the public, companies, and the state itself? By educating and sharing more and more of the information about this privatization to the people, it is expected that the public will agree with this policy since it has a lot of benefits and for the sake of the public itself, stability and good essential state services sooner or later will make people melt and more aware of the importance of this privatization because in the future, however, the condition of this country depends on us who live today. By influencing something that is valuable for both the present and the future, it will certainly open the door to a better future for all of us. And well, essential state services in Indonesia are working pretty well. But is it good enough? With the privatization of essential state services, which is expected to stabilize the performance and stability of the economy in Indonesia, it will certainly make our country more developed to be like other developed countries. There is a lot of obvious evidence that developed countries to do a lot of privatization because they observe that it is more efficient and more profitable for the country. And by that, ladies and gentlemen, this House believes that essential state services should be privatized due to how beneficial it is to the people, companies, and the state. Thank you very much.